TPG Sports Group at the Masters and Coaching Clinic. With me, I have Alan Stein, owner of Stronger Team and a professional strength and conditioning coach for Nike Elite DeMatha Catholic High School basketball program. How's your thoughts about the clinic so far?
This is amazing. What an honor to be here with other tremendous coaches. But I'm thankful anytime I get a chance to share my passion. This is what I love to do. And if there's anyone that ever wants me to share my passion, I'll do it in 2 seconds. So I'm very thankful to be here.
And given your expertise on conductive training with a lot of different players, why is it so important for coaches to attend clinics like this?
Every coach needs to be a lifelong learner. As soon as you think you have nothing else to learn, you're dead in the water. And I try to learn something new every day. And a place like this, certainly you're going to learn from the clinicians, but you're going to learn from networking, meeting other coaches, just talking shop. This is where you get better. If you want to be serious about your craft, you have to make a commitment to get better. And there's no better place than a clinic like this.
And you mentioned earlier when we talked that you've been to a lot of clinics. How does this clinic different from the other clinics that you've attended?
I think Pete and his crew have done a phenomenal job in breaking the mold. The average basketball clinic just kind of piles people into a high school gym and has them sit in the bleachers and coaches come out and kind of share stories. They wanted to do something different. First of all, the plethora of speakers are covering every single topic of basketball, from strength and conditioning to skill acquisition to player development to the X's and O's. So you're getting a very well-rounded approach. And they've also kept this smaller and close-knit so that the clinicians have an opportunity to meet the attendees and vice versa, where sometimes you go to a clinic and it's got 500 coaches, you don't really get a chance to mingle or speak and talk to anybody. This is phenomenal, and of course anything Pete and his group does is first class. From the second I stepped off my flight, everything they do is first class, and that's an honor to be a part of something like that.
And what was some of the stuff that you discussed today and demonstrated for a lot of the coaches?
I do strength and conditioning, so my goal is to get players bigger, faster, stronger, quicker so that they can perform their skills at a higher level. And this is stuff that's really important for younger kids who don't do as much of the functional side of things anymore. I know a lot of kids are rather sedentary except for when they play their sport. So I just want to teach kids how to train correctly so that they can play basketball and stay fit for the rest of their lives.
And I know with your extensive work with elite high school players, college, and NBA players, how do you implement different techniques, considering the different training abilities these guys are at?
Everything has a baseline. Every exercise has a baseline, and then the goal is to be able to modify it for younger kids who have less experience, and then to make it more challenging for guys that are older and have a higher training age. So any exercise I do can be modified in either direction. But the main point of coaching and the main point of what I do is about connecting. It's about connecting with players and getting them to give a great effort, getting them to do things that they would not do by themselves. And if you can do that as a coach, I think you're off to a good start.
And one more thing.
Sure.
I know Kevin Durant struggled in the strength department at the combine where he only benched, or he couldn't even bench 185 pounds. Now he can max out at 315 pounds. Being, his strength and conditioning coach and for his speed, what were some of the workouts that you had him go through in order to increase his strength?
Well, one thing important, Kevin has definitely gotten stronger, but I've never been a big believer that that's going to be the metric to define him as a player. Even when Kevin had difficulty benching weight, it was okay. The guy was still a pretty good basketball player. And you take someone who 4 or 5 years ago couldn't bench 185 pounds, and he's in the conversation now as the best player on the planet. It just goes to show you that those things don't always correlate. So he's always been smart enough to realize that strength and conditioning is a means to help him be the best player that he can be, but it doesn't define him. And anyone that thinks that just because a player can't lift a lot of weight, they're not going to be a good basketball player, doesn't have a very good understanding of what this is all about. So Kevin's someone that really understood that this is a means for him to be the best player he can be, and he's actually, he's actualized that.
And what do you think that a lot of the coaches and, attendees should take from this event?
A lot of things. First of all, I hope they're taking notes until their hands are sore because they need to write down anything and everything they can. As a coach, it's so important that you know the why behind everything that you do, but you also need to know the why for everything that you choose not to do. And I think in a clinic like this, you're going to be around so many different ideas. You don't need to take everything that the clinicians do here and try to implement it yourself. It's okay if it doesn't fit in your philosophy, but you need to be open-minded and try to learn from as many sources as you can, then go back and find what fits in your convictions and what fits in your program, and then go from there. But this is an unbelievable opportunity for the clinicians, but also for those in attendance to just work on their craft and get better at coaching basketball.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time,
Thank
and
you.
we look forward to seeing you on Sunday for part 2.